Yeah, look, markets are, at the risk of stating the obvious, right? Markets are just much trickier than they were even 6 months ago. When we have all of those things that you just mentioned, we really need to think about what are the overall drivers. It's not just the case anymore where we can just buy China, Korea, Taiwan and expect liquidity to flow through. We have to be a bit more just careful in understanding the drivers. The main ones here that in China remains a macro-driven market. We know that it's a more of a closed system, and the overall challenge is continuing to be that slowdown in the expansion of credit. It's an orchestrated slowdown, plus all of the COVID drivers that we are seeing. So that's the case, including the shipping story and the shipping restrictions that are continuing to put pressure on areas like Korea, for example, COVID restrictions as well for the domestic story. In order for that story to reassert itself, we're going to need to see much stronger policy support out of China. We're going to see, I think, a continuing of pairing of these high portfolio holdings, institutional portfolio holdings in North Asia, as investors really just look to take on this cyclical risk a little bit elsewhere for now until we just get better clarity.
For you, what is weighing most on the Asia region? I know it's such a vast region, but what is your major risk concern and which country concerns you most?
Look, I think this is clearly the China credit risk, and not as in a credit worry about the default side. I think it's a credit risk in just the expansion of credit, enough policy support, enough liquidity to continue to support underlying growth. That is a big risk. The other one is just supply lines. We've seen the real pain that shippers are feeling in just trying to get goods from one side of the world to another. This is weighing on profits. It is causing higher input prices, higher gate prices, factory gate prices that will continue to hurt margins. It's a story that's not going to be eased very quickly and anytime soon. We're looking at until after Chinese New Year before we think we see any of that easing in, let's just call it shipping constraint. And as far as the last portion is that unquantifiable risk for foreign investors on what China is adding with regulations in different industries, especially the internet industries.